Hi, everybody. Welcome back to We Run on Coffee. I'm Marissa.
And I'm Erica.
And this is an odd one because we're not going to catch up. We're not going to say what we're looking forward to because this is a rare three-peat. This is the third episode that we're filming in a day, just because if you guys listened to last week's episode, you know it was all about numerology. We got to an hour and we still have so much information to tell you about angel numbers. Yeah. So we just decided to make it its own episode.
Of course. And if you didn't listen to last week's episode, you have to go do that right now because Marissa talked all about numerology. She kind of gave us the breakdown and it gave so much background to what I'm going to tell you guys about angel numbers today. And I think it's necessary. So if you didn't listen to it, I really do recommend you go back. Not because I want listeners, I do, but really because I think you need the background to like kind of understand where the angel numbers are coming from.
Yeah, because the angel numbers are just like another...
like a subset almost.
Yeah, subset of numerology, but it's like specific numbers too.
Yeah, so I'm just going to dive right in. I think this will still take us a good half hour at the very least. So like I said in the last episode, I lied to you guys on accident, but in this episode, I will be at the end saying every angel number that I found so that if you see a pattern of numbers in your life, not just 333, not just like repeating numbers, but there are also a couple unique ones that are different patterns. So if you see some of those in your life, like stay tuned to the end and listen for them because I will be saying what they mean. Yay. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we really dive in, I want to give a disclaimer about talking about angel numbers because this is like a spiritual idea. We were kind of talking about the same thing in numerology. It's a little bit less scientific, and I don't have sources that are like really like sciencey. Like we usually do a Oxford Dictionary definition of our word, and then we dive in with scientific like resources. We don't have that today because this is like a whole different thing. It's more spiritual. It's more, I don't know, feelings based, I guess. And so that's for that reason my sources are all magazine articles, which is kind of funny but also really fun. I feel like they were really good articles though, so I want to let you guys know that. First one is from Allure. And this article is called Everything You Need to Know About Angel Numbers. The second is from Cosmopolitan, and this is a guide to angel numbers and what they mean. And then the third article that I'm going to use is from USA Today, and this is called What Are Angel Numbers? A Beginner's Guide to Angel Numbers and What They Could Mean. And I liked this one because instead of it just being an article by an author at a magazine, it's actually an interview with someone named Nova Lee Wilder, who's a professional numerologist, which I didn't even know was a job. You have?
Oh, I don't know how, but I've heard of her.
I wonder if she came up in your research at all or something like that. I don't know.
I did listen to a numerology episode of a podcast, not for research, but just like in the past. Previously, so I wonder if they had talked about her.
That would make sense. Yeah, it's a unique name, so I feel like it's like it would jog my memory. So yeah, Nova Lee Wilder is a professional numerologist. I didn't even know there was a job. I didn't look it up. I don't even know what that job entails, but I liked that it was an interview too because I feel like it had like a good professional opinion in it as well. So those are my sources for today's episode, and they'll all be in our podcast description. So I think they're really great places to learn about angel numbers, and if you want to like dive a little bit deeper than we go today, check them out. So click the links in the description of the episode. Yeah. Yay. So we're going to start with what are angel numbers. Just like in Marissa's episode, we just started with a blanket, like what is numerology. So we're going to talk about what are angel numbers, and I kind of pulled three different definitions, if you will, and I feel like you can piece parts of them together to get a full picture. But we're going to start with the Allure magazine article, and this one said that within numerology, angel numbers are a number sequence, usually 3 or 4 numbers in a row, that contain repetition. So think of 111, that's 3 numbers in a row, or 4444. 4 fours, if you will. And it also could include patterns such as 321 or 8787. So things that have a significant pattern. Although they may appear in the most ordinary places, these digits usually grab our attention, and even if only for a moment, they evoke a sense of wonder. So the reason we're enchanted by these sequences is an extension of their symbolism. It's believed that these numbers are messages from the spiritual universe that offer insight, wisdom, and directionality. So again, very similar to what we talked about with numerology as a whole. And then I have two things from USA Today that I thought were, again, good descriptions. So in numerology, patterns always come in sets of 3s. I don't know if it's fair to say always, but that's what it said. And the more repetition of a number is the better in this case. So if you see your angel number 3 times in a row, for example, that could give you like the push you needed to apply for a new job or put yourself in the dating world. That's kind of the way that they're viewing it. And I put a very, very simplistic, holistic view. More simply put, very, very straightforward. Angel numbers are repeating number sequences, often used as a guide for deeper spiritual exploration. So sequences can range from 000 to 999, kind of like in Marissa's episodes, we only went 1 through 9. And each of these has its own distinct meaning and energy. So that's what is an angel numbers.
Yay. Do
have
you
to take a
think
deep breath.
before you even like started researching this, I know I threw out the idea like maybe 2-3 weeks ago. Did you have any like numbers that like pop up in life often?
I want to say no, but the answer is yes, because I said this in Marissa's episode, but my life path number I now know is 11. I didn't know that before, but my birth month is 11. There are 2 ones in my birthday. Like my full birthday right now, there's 4 ones. And then my anniversary with Angelo is on 11/11. So I guess 1 is a repeating number in my life, but I also will say just having a number with repeating numbers, which is going to sound funny, is common in my life. So for example, our house number used to be 4430. So having the 44, that's common for me in my life, but it's never the same number. So like having 44 would make sense, or having 2 5s in my house number, or having, 2 of the same number in my house number is common for me, but they're never the same. So I always felt like no. However, we're going to learn that even just having the 2 numbers can be significant. So yeah. What about you? Do you have any that are repeating for you?
When I first heard of angel numbers, I had heard of like specifically 444, and that one used to be like something that I saw all of the time, but I don't know if it was something that I was like by circumstance like hearing about it, like I had started seeing it everywhere. But I don't think anything recently has popped out to me.
I felt the same way. I was like, I don't know if angel numbers are a thing or if it's just like the bias we have because we think about it. It's like if you think of a red car, now you'll see red cars, but they were always there. So I had that same like feeling too, and almost skepticism. But I will say, you guys, again, these were requested episodes by Natalie, mine and Angela's cousin, aka Marissa's sister-in-law, and she sent me her list of angel numbers and when she saw them, so I'll include those as well throughout.
Like she said when she saw them too?
Like not exactly, but yeah, I do have a couple scenarios. She's like, oh, I saw this at this time, or these are while I was pregnant and these after I was pregnant, so I feel like that'll give some cool context as well.
That's so cool.
I know. So thank you, Natalie, for sending that.
Yeah, like I was saying in the last episode, like she's like, I would say skeptical of like all of this stuff. Like she likes tangible things, and this is super untangible. Like, I mean, obviously you can see the numbers, but like the meaning behind them is like not tangible. It's all like spiritual. Right. So I think it's really interesting to like see that she's like,
yeah, and these are things that are super prominent to her, like in her life, like numbers that were super prominent. She's like, why am I seeing this over and over and over? She said, actually, this is what she texted. She said, I didn't think anything of them until after she was in Ohio with you and you guys started talking about it. And then she's like, oh, wait, I have seen this over and over and over again. Yeah. So that's really cool. I'm excited to dive into them.
She was like, I don't know what's happening. Like, I just see this number. Like, I pull up my phone and every time it's like repeating digits. And I was like, well, those are called angel numbers. Like, I was like, it's obviously like spiritual sign, and like it might not be real, but like you can take it as a sign. And she was like, well, that's scary. And I was like, no, they usually have really
good
like,
meaning.
Good meaning. And she was like, wait, okay. And then I read one of them to her. She's like, I love that actually.
Yeah, and it's usually so applicable, which is so crazy. Love. Okay, well, we're going to dive into the origin of angel numbers. Again, I'm just going to keep harping back to Marissa's episode because it was all supposed to be in one, but I want to make sure you guys have full context. If you didn't listen to that, we had to cut ourselves off diving into the history of these things because there is so much information out there. So I'm just going to give you a really brief history, which is from the Allure magazine article that I read as well. But in this article, they said that the power and significance of repeating integers has been around for hundreds of years. The ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras, I know some people pronounce it different.
That was another type of
was it?
Numerology? It was Pythagorean.
Pythagoras, yeah. Oh, Pythagorean, yeah, numerology. Okay,
numerology.
So that's interesting. Maybe we should dive into that sometime because apparently that's the one where angel numbers kind of stem from a little bit. I don't know. So yeah, it says the ancient Greek philosopher Pythagoras was a brilliant mathematician, but in addition to inventing unique quantitative solutions, he believed that our reality is a physical manifestation of the energetic vibration of numbers. And I would love to explain that for you guys, but I can't. I didn't dive in any deeper than that. I was like, that's confusing, but whatever. We're just going to move on.
I think it does like harken back to like what I talked about a little bit of like each number having its own vibration, and you can break everything down to a single number.
To a single, a digit. Exactly. I agree. And so with that, it says fast forward a few thousand years, and there was an author named Doreen Virtue who published dozens of books in the early 2000s on angel numbers and actually coined the term angel number. And that author, Virtue, I'm not sure, Doreen Virtue, I'm not sure if that's a woman, but I would think maybe, that author explored the unique mystical messages baked into number sequences. So that would be something interesting. Like if we keep going, maybe we'll have to read the book. That would be cool.
Yeah.
So that's the first time the word angel number was actually like used to describe these. Aww. So now I want to talk just a little bit about why do we see angel numbers, or like where do we see angel numbers, that kind of stuff, in case you're listening to this and you're like, I've still never heard of angel numbers, I'm kind of confused. That's fine. So why do we see angel numbers? This is from the USA Today article, which again was an interview. So these are some quotes from the Wilder professional numerologist. So since angel numbers appear in most places within our everyday life, this can be seen as the spiritual universe guiding you towards something or giving you support that you're on the right path to something. So angel numbers are not just coming from angels. Some people believe that they can be sent from loved ones who have died or other spiritual guides, said Wilder. So that's just talking about why we see them and where people believe they're coming from. Like, why do we see it? Who's sending me this number? Some people believe it's an angel. Some people believe it's like God or a higher power. Some people believe it's a loved one who passed on. And then spiritual guides is kind of encapsulating of many different places, many different, I don't want to say people, but spiritual places it can come from.
Yeah, I think it's so like I was talking about like the other week, like I think it's so comforting to me to think that like we could all come back as ghosts and like exist on the same plane that we've always existed on. So to me, like it's so comforting to think that like these numbers are showing me like where to go.
That you're on the right track, you're going the right place or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm surprised that we actually got through this so fast, but you know, I have a lot of angel numbers to read, so don't get too excited.
More, don't worry.
So we're going to dive into the meaning of each individual digit, and then also the meaning of them as angel numbers. So we're going to talk about what ones mean in a repeating pattern. Then we'll also talk about the number 111. So we're going to really break down all of these. Again, I just want to mention that we could talk so much more about where they come from and the history and what different people believe to be true about them, but we only have so much time to get into that. So we're just going to dive into the numbers. Please dive into these articles and other articles if you want more, and read the books by Doreen Virtue. That would be really cool. So we're going to start with 000 because I didn't find in any articles it talking about repeating zeros. I only saw about 000, 3 of them in a row, being an angel number. So apparently the angel number 000 is a powerful symbol of change, symbolizing new beginnings and the start of a journey. Very simply put, that's all I found about it. So I thought that was interesting because I never even thought of 000 being an angel number. I thought it was only like more than 0 digits. You know what I mean? Yeah. So interesting. But I think that's pretty. Start of a new journey.
I like it.
Yeah. So now we're going.
Go ahead. I think that one's probably hard to find.
Yes.
In nature.
Yeah. And I'm thinking of it. I'm like, when do we see 000? It's like, I guess I use military time. So when it's like 8 o'clock, it's 2000. So like maybe that's the time. But otherwise, yeah, I agree. It's like 1,000, I guess, if you see 1,000 on something. I don't know. But I've never heard of it as an angel number. So I just thought that was interesting.
Yeah.
But if you see it, it might be your angel number.
Yeah, I think maybe that might be why there wasn't too much information on it, just because like obviously the numbers have to exist in repeating sequences for you to see them in repeating sequences.
Exactly.
And 000 isn't something that you often see.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an interesting one. Okay, we're going to start with ones. Like I mentioned, my life path number is 11, which is the master number. Very cool. Right? Master number? Is that what it's called? Yes. Master life path. Yeah. And I have a lot of ones repeating for me. So as we go through these, I'll also include, my anniversary with Angelo, and then I also wanted to include Vernita, which is Angelo's sister, and her anniversary with her girlfriend Lauren, because we both are on double numbers, which I thought was just like a fun coincidence. Like I was like, oh, what a quinky dink. And now that we're doing this, I'm like, oh, this actually could mean something. So that'd be cool. So repeating ones, which my anniversary is 11/11, 17. So there's actually 5 ones in it, repeating right in a row, which they say the more repeating numbers in a row, the better. Ones repeating are a sign of divine support. So this means that you're moving into a new phase of life and self-actualization. And if you see ones, it's paramount that you trust yourself and trust your guides. And I thought that was really cool because I'm like, wow, that's kind of like, if you think about the day we started dating, it's 1, 1, 1, 1. I don't know how many ones I just said. 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 7. And that says you're moving into a new phase of life. That's exactly what we did when we started dating, and moving into a whole new phase of life with a whole new like perspective on the world together, like as a partnership. So that's really cool.
Yeah, it is.
And then I will just talk about the number 111 because a lot of people see it in threes. 111 specifically signifies that things in your life are coming together into divine alignment. Just kind of similar, but a little bit more direct than just seeing ones in a row.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Did you see anything about like 1111? Because like a lot of people say like, 1111, make a wish.
Yes.
Like, what does that mean? Because I think that that's even more applicable in your relationship.
I think it will be too. And yes, I'm going to do that at the end because 11 is a master number. So they pulled those out separately, just like how the master numbers had their own life path descriptions. They do in angel numbers as well. So I guess 1111 is even more special. Yeah. But 5 ones in a row, I'm like, oh sheesh, we might have some good luck.
Yeah.
So yeah, and then we're gonna go into 2s now. 222 is gonna be a fun one because that's one of Natalie's angel numbers, I think. So I'll pull that up while I'm reading. But in general, 2s in a repeating sequence are symbolic of coming together in some sort of way, like a reunion or a new union. So seeing 2s can be a message to open yourself more deeply to love and camaraderie. So 222 specifically, when it repeats 3 times, this is one that Natalie said she sees post-pregnancy a lot. No certain scenarios associated, but she just sees it a lot. So this one's for you, Natalie. 222 is associated with balance, collaboration, love, and harmony, which is really sweet that she sees that after having Murphy and like starting her own first, little family with her, Caden, and Murphy. That's really sweet. I love that. Really,
and it's like it's associated with balance, so it's like showing like that she will have balance like in this family of 3.
Yes, balance and love and harmony. That's so like it's so pretty. I just love that. So that's really cool.
So good.
And then it also included 2222 or 2222. So when it repeats 4 times, this angel number is sometimes described as the cosmic wealth sequence, which sounds very fancy. And this number specifically is a reminder from your angels or your spiritual guides that you are determined and hardworking. You are a determined and hardworking individual who's making great progress. So it's just like a reassurance almost.
Yeah.
So that's beautiful. There you go, Natalie. I love that so much. I'm kind of jealous that's her angel number. I'm like, wow, I want that one. And she said that with 222 and a couple others, she sees it at very least once a day. Yeah. And I was like, that is significant to me. I think that I personally don't have something like that. And that's why I say don't have an angel number, because to see it that often, that to me really feels like a sign. I'm like, wow, that's incredible. So now we're going to move to 3s. I know. I'm so like, I love it. We're going to move to 3. So repeating 3s are a sign to trust yourself, your magic, and your wisdom. So this is a message to stand strong and be clear about what you want for yourself and your life. And again, we'll talk about 333 specifically. This is one that Natalie saw while she was pregnant. So she said that oftentimes throughout her pregnancy, she would wake up in the middle of the night, just like randomly, and it would either be 3:33 a.m. or 4:44 a.m. every time. Every time. And so 333 is one that she was like, okay, this is like stuck in my mind. So this is really cool as well. So this is while she's pregnant. 333 is an angel number that's associated with femininity, hard to say, creativity, and intuition. When you come across this angel number, think of it as a friendly love note to stop worrying so much. Aww. How sweet is that? And I feel like that again, and Natalie, I'm sorry if you're listening to this and you're like, you guys can stop like doing this, because I just want to compare it to her life and like make associations that maybe she doesn't see. But it feels really, really reassuring to be pregnant when you're probably worried about like, is my baby going to be healthy? What's going to happen? My life's going to change. Just when you're in such a transitional period in your life, it feels like really cute for that to be like a love note to stop worrying. That is so sweet.
It was a love note from baby Murphy to say, honestly, Mom, it's okay.
Yes. So she said that one was when she was pregnant, when she would wake up in the middle of the night, and it still stands, she sees as once a day. Least.
Wow.
Yeah, that's one of her once a days ones. She has 4 angel numbers that she sees at least like once a day. I don't know if that means each of them every day, but like at least one of them a day. So that's so crazy. So that was 333.
Aw.
Yes. Okay. So we're going to talk about 4s. Seeing 4s repetitive is a sign that you need to ground yourself. So you're receiving support to get clear on your foundation, and it's a time for completion and balance. So I feel like that's a really cool one. And the 444 angel number, which is a popular one, like we said, I feel like it's a really common one to hear about. That is a symbol that your angels are nearby or your spiritual guide. And it's even more so than other angel numbers. So that one is just supposed to represent like your angels are around you or your spiritual guides are around you and they're with you. They're present.
Aww.
And 444, again, that was one of Natalie's pregnancy and post-pregnancy sees once a day situations.
Yeah. I think that's good to like think of like anybody that's passed is like here walking with you.
Yeah, like I'm here, like I'm with you. Yeah, really cool.
My ghosties are here.
Yeah, my ghosties are here. I'm dead. Okay, not literally. No pun intended.
Not dead. No,
yeah.
I'm not dead.
No pun intended. That's funny. Okay, so number 5s. This is really fun. Repeating 5s are a symbol of transformation. So I love that. This is saying that you're undergoing or you're about to undergo dramatic changes and you're being asked to embrace the chaos. And 555 is a message that transformation isn't coming. So those are really similar, like the angel number and repetitive 5s itself is about transformation. And to no one's surprise, this was one of Natalie's numbers. 555.
Oh, wow. That's so fun.
And that's one that she sees just post-pregnancy, but that would probably make a lot of sense because having a baby is like a big transitional moment.
Sorry, I thought I heard an alarm.
I was scared for you. Oh, it's my house. Sorry.
Oh,
Angelo just opened the door. That's funny.
I was so
Marissa
confused.
said, I thought I heard an alarm.
That's so funny.
It's hilarious. Okay, yeah. So 555 transformation. That's what you can think of when you see repetitive 5s. Okay. So now for 6. This is a controversial one because 6s repetitively often have like a bad reputation for being associated with evil, like 666. But it says that the number 6 will actually appear when you're looking outside of yourself too much for answers. So it's like a message that you should go within and get back to the basics, breathe, and like kind of trust yourself a little bit more rather than looking outside yourself all the time. And so 666, the 3 sequence angel number itself, means that you might be over focusing on something trivial to the point that you're losing sight of what's actually important. And I included here that my cruise room number was 6669 because I remember talking about that. It was just so random. So I don't know if I really associate with this, but it's just an interesting one to point out.
Yeah, I think that is interesting.
Yeah, it's really weird because a lot of people do think 666 and they're like devil, evil.
Evil.
So then when I see it, I get scared, but it's interesting to know.
Yeah.
So
it's not anything like scary.
No, yeah, definitely not. It's just like, it's not even scary, but it's not even like a scary caution, but it's almost just like a caution. It's like, hey, trust yourself. You know, it's like a little nudge.
Yeah.
Which is cute. Okay. So 7, seeing 7s is a divine message to dig deeper into the spiritual and esoteric. Is that how you say that? Esoteric. I've never even heard that word actually. But this is a number signal that you need to step up your spiritual game, which I thought was a really funny one. And if you see 777, the angel number 777, it means you're heading in a new direction in your life and experiencing things that you haven't yet. Just very simply put. Mm-hmm. Okay. We're getting to 8 and 9, and then we'll get into some master numbers. Yay. So we're getting close. 8s, just seeing 8s in a row, it says 8s are heavy hitters, appearing when a major cycle in your life has come to an end. So this means that it's time to let go, surrender, trust the process. Trust God, trust your angels, trust your whatever you put your trust into. And if you see 888, 3 in a row, it means that you've been doing some serious manifestation work and your affirmations are about to pay off. So similarly to that. So this is where I was going to include that Angela's sister Vernita and her girlfriend, their anniversary is on 8/8. And so that's interesting. It says a major cycle in your life has come to an end. So I almost wonder, like, when they started dating, something ended and their new began, you know, like, I don't know.
I mean, that is true. They both had they both had other relationships that's true that had like ended, and then they had gotten into like their relationship together.
So it's kind of funny. Their 8/8 is a sign of something ending, and our 11/11 is, we don't know yet because we haven't talked about 11/11, but ones are like a new phase of life. So it's kind of like, I don't know, it just makes sense. So that's really cool. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. And lastly, we have for the single digits, we have 9. So 9 is a sign that you're up leveling and need to act accordingly. So when 9s come knocking, it's time to turn to learning and teaching, knowing that you're supported in expanding your mind. So this is like kind of a big one. Yeah. And 999 kind of tells you that closure is on its way and you're nearing the end of a cycle and preparing to begin the next one. So that kind of encapsulates 8 and 1, which is actually kind of funny because 8 plus 1 is 9. So I guess that makes sense.
Wow.
Yeah, it's so weird. They really just tie together, like, wow. So that is all of the singular digits, and we're going to move into master numbers. I'm so excited. So we're going to start with 10. In numerology, like we talked about in Marissa's last episode, you break down each like integer or digit and add them together. So with 10, you're going to do 1 plus 0, and that equals 1. So 10 is the number of mastery and completion. So you've hit the nail on the head with where you are in what you're doing and how you're doing it. And the next level is on the horizon. So 1010 asks you to be careful and deliberate about what you set out to manifest. And this one's cool because my parents' anniversary is 1010, their wedding anniversary. So I just put that in there.
Weird. Well, I was just thinking like number 10, like Kyle and I, our anniversary is in October, and like mastering completion, like we're it.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes, your dating anniversary and your wedding anniversary. So it's almost like a sign from your dating anniversary, the very first time you met, like this is your level of completion. And then you got married, just really solidifies it.
Well, and we were originally supposed to get married in August and it didn't work out.
And yes, and it ended up being 10. That's so crazy.
That is so weird.
Okay, I'm so glad you brought that up too, because I put your guys' anniversaries at the bottom because I was like, I'm not finding a pattern of like repetition. However, seeing the 10, that totally tracks. That is so weird.
And this year's our 10-year anniversary.
Stop. Oh my God. Wait, that's crazy. Okay. Wow. That is solid.
Aww.
Okay. So 11, it says 11 is probably the best known angel number because double digits of the same number are seen as master numbers, like Marissa explained in her episode. And seeing 11 is like seeing a 10, but taken up a notch, it says. So it's a sign of ascension to new spiritual heights. So when you see 1111, again, my anniversary, 1111 gives you confirmation that everything is on schedule and divinely guided in your world. So that's really crazy.
Aww.
And that wraps up. It didn't get into 2222 or 3333. Those are just within their like individual numbers. I mean, 2222 I talked about with twos, but there's no 3333. Anyways, so that's like the wrap up of the master numbers or double digit numbers. And now I just have a few different patterns. These are like a little bit shorter, a little bit simpler, but they're still have meaning. So I'm interested to see if any of them relate to your life. For me, I don't think any have, but we'll see. So these are a few more angel numbers that are just different patterns. So the first one is 1133 or 1133. And this means that you have a strong intuition and the ability to influence others. So that's really cool. And then the next one is a similar sequence. So it's 1144 or 1144. And this means that everything is in divine alignment and in your favor, but you can make the process much smoother if you have your worldly affairs in order, which I thought was kind of interesting, kind of eerie. It's like, hey, this will work out for you if you get your shit together. That's what it sounds like. I'm like, okay. So those are the 11 ones. So then we have 1222 or 1222. This means that you're at a lucky time and position in your life. So that's cool. We have 1234.
Erica,
do you have
it's 1221 right now.
Shut up.
And you just read that.
That is so weird. And also, you guys, this is our 33rd episode of the year. So I want to go back to threes. I wonder what that means. Repeating threes are a sign to trust yourself, your magic, and your wisdom. It's a message to stand strong and be clear about what you want for yourself in your life. So that's cool.
Oh my goodness.
Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. I know that this is a big one for some people that they see 1, 2, 3, 4 in order a lot. Just counting up. So 1, 2, 3, 4 demonstrates that you are in a building phase in your life. So there you go. We have 1515 or 1515. And this one tells you that positive, inspiring changes are coming soon and that you should be open to the possibilities of that. A lot of them are about being open-minded, which I think is really interesting. I feel like a lot of them say that.
Okay. I like it though.
These are 3-digit. So those were all the 4-digit ones. These are 3-digit angel number patterns. So this is where in my life, I feel like I see more of like a 3-digit pattern. It's not the exact same digits in a row, but they are what I would say symmetrical. So we're going to talk about 212. To me, that's symmetrical. 2 on either side, 1 in the middle. Or 404, again, symmetrical. 616, symmetrical. 808, symmetrical. And a lot of things in my life, I feel like I see symmetrical in that way. So all that to say, 212 is associated with a moment of peace. This is actually my dad's birthday, 212. So that's really interesting. But 212 is associated with a moment of peace. Wait, isn't it your dad's birthday too? Or is it the next day?
My dad's is the 11th.
Oh, okay. I was the next day. Because I remember we got confused one year and we were like, wait, why is my dad's birthday on the wrong day? But we saw each other's. Yep, that makes sense. So 212 is associated with a moment of peace. It is a signal for you to relax and enjoy where you're at right now because things could change soon.
I like that.
Yeah, that's really sweet. 404 carries a crucial message, which I think is funny because if you've ever gone in a web browser and gotten a 404 error, that is a very common web error. You get a 404 error, but 404 carries a crucial message. You are supported by the spiritual realm, and your guiding angels can help you tap into your potential.
Ooh.
Yeah, so that one's a cool one. I feel like 404, I don't know, for some reason that feels like common. I don't know if it's just the web errors or if it's something else. Something about that to me feels common.
Yeah.
Another one, 616. This asks you to find a balance in your life, particularly between spiritual and practical. And then we have two more. Okay. 711 or 711. This asks you to relax into where you are in your life right now and to move through the world as if you are lucky and protected. Now is the time to put yourself out there and go after what you want. And finally, our last one, 808. This tells you that you're entering a period in your life that's about to be filled with security, influence, and lucrative resources, which I'm like, I want to see 808. That sounds nice. So that wraps up like all the angel numbers I could at least find that have like a certain meaning. So of course it feels weird for us to just sit here and read them all because most of them are not applicable to us, but I want to make sure if you're listening and you see something all the time, you're like, why do I keep seeing this number? I hope that we kind of answered your question or you heard a little bit about it in this episode.
Aw.
So
I like it a
cool.
lot. And I think like I like I keep saying, like I find comfort in things like this. So I think that it's like super comforting to think about like somebody that does draw a special meaning from these.
Yes.
And like I hope that I can like start like being more aware and like looking around and seeing like when I see these things, and maybe like over the next couple of months, maybe I'll like keep like a little journal of like when I see these things and like kind of like relate it back to my life and see. And I feel like Natalie is kind of doing that already. Like she does remember when she sees these. Yeah. And I think that like it's helpful to be like, oh, like when this was happening, I saw this number a lot and like it means a lot.
Yeah. And as you're listening to this, and if you listen to our personality series and you've done those other tests, like think about your Enneagram and like let us know if it relates. Like Marissa was saying, like both of our Enneagrams were our life path numbers.
That's weird. Insane.
Yes, that's so weird. So like let us know what your angel number is if you have one, and also just let us know if your like life path, your Enneagram, your angel number, like if those things kind of align, because I find that really interesting. I don't know, it's just crazy, the alignment.
I think it is really interesting just to like, I mean, we started off this year with saying we were going to do a personality series, and now we've dug deeper into like so many other things, but it all does relate.
Yeah, and it's so weird. Like, it's, to me in my brain, I'm like, it shouldn't make sense, because before we did all this, I was like very skeptical of everything. I was just like, this is all made up. But it really aligns so strongly that I'm like, how can you ignore the alignment of it at least?
Yeah. Well, like, I mean, you have no control over when you get born. Like, that's true. Like, you yourself, Erica, do not have control over when you were born.
Exactly.
But, like, all of these numbers still equal 1 or, like, 11. And, like, 11 related to you. Like,
I was born at 1:51 p.m. I just remember. I just realized that the time of my birth, the time of my born was 1:51. So, okay, now let me count the numbers of ones in my birthday.
Too many.
If you talk about 11, 18, 19, 98 at 1:51, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ones in a row. My life path is 11, and 111's an angel number. I have the double 111 angel number in my freaking birthday and time. Okay, apparently my angel number is 1. This whole series brought us to the fact that Erica does have an angel number, and it's 1.
Yeah. Now I want to see how much you see it in like the coming weeks.
I know. Watch. I'll be like, this is my angel number. I see it all over, because now I know it.
Well, I mean, I guess after doing the research and like seeing that 111, like the triple one, signifies that things in your life are coming to a divine alignment. Like,
love that.
Do you think like you're having like a spiritual awakening recently, or like?
No, not really.
I was just curious.
Not really, but I guess like the thing is with the ones, it's like the ones are very prevalent in my birthday. So like I'm seeing it more as like when I was born, maybe there was a spiritual whatever awakening for me as a infant, and then I see the 1111 of my the 11/11/17 as my anniversary, and I'm like, okay, on that time when we saw 11/11 is like confirmation that we're on schedule, we're on path. So at that time, like we were on schedule, we were on path. So I almost see it as like a moment in time rather than a lasting impact, which I find interesting, because I think a lot of people do see it as a lasting impact. They're like, oh, 333 is my number, I see it all the time. I always know that I have femininity, creativity, and intuition, or whatever. I kind of see them more as like a moment in time. At least like that's how it makes sense to me, because those moments were so significant.
Yeah,
but all my significant moments are ones.
I'm
ones.
Curious if I were to do like your name numerology, like if
Yes,
we went into that, if it would be a 1. Like I'm so curious.
I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna look it up, and I'm not gonna do it because I don't want to like spoil it. But I think we should add that to the calendar. We do have an open slot this year. Maybe we should fill it with that because I think that is so fun.
Yeah, we do have a couple of months though, so we'll wait to hear the feedback from all of you.
Let us know, please.
Let us know which one you want to. Like if you want name numerology, or you want, I don't even remember all of the other things that I had.
The Pythagorean numerology, which
more of the Chaldean. Your
if you want us to read the book, like where angel numbers originated, we can read the history book. Like, let us know what you guys really want, and also please, like, if something was boring to you, you can tell us. Like, we're not gonna be offended. Just let us know so that we know like how to best modify our next one for you guys to love it even more.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, a triple header today. I loved it. This is a perfect length. I think this is like a good short episode for you guys, and I hope that I read your angel number and you got like a little bit of solace from like what it means. And I hope you liked it, Natalie, because I know you requested this, and I hope it kind of gave some insight to your angel numbers as well.
I know, and I hope that like, I don't know, that you could just like find like, I don't know, just like happiness and peace in it.
I agree. I agree so much. This was so much fun.
So many things in our lives like cause us to feel so chaotic. So if the number is the thing that gives you peace, let it be that.
Yes, happily I'll accept that. Yeah. I'm so excited to see like if I find other places, because the thing about this to me with the ones is like, it's not like I'm like, oh, I see 111 on the clock all the time. Because that could be a thing where it's like, oh yeah, I see ones because I want to see ones. But these are like you said, set in fact. It's like I was born on that day. I can't help I was born on that day. Angelo asked me out on that day. I didn't ask him. He asked me. Like, these are things that kind of happened to me. Yes. And so that's what's really interesting about it to me. So I love it. This was fun. Thank you guys for listening. Thank you for like allowing us to do this fun thing and like listening to us. If we had 0 listeners, it'd be so depressing and we would have quit by now. So thank you guys for like listening every single week and letting us dive into these fun things. I would have never known. I would have never had any idea. I just like, oh, it's woo woo and I don't get it. But instead, like we really got to learn about the history, and I feel like it's so cool.
Yeah, it is really cool.
So yeah, that's it for today's episode. Thanks for joining us. Also, I guess let us know. I mean, we're never going to stop catching up in the beginning, but do let us know how you felt about us just diving into the topic and just starting. Because if it's something you really love, we could squeeze in one here or there where we'd like don't chit chat. I know some people like prefer that. We like the chit chat. That's like our favorite part. So we're never going to quit, but you can let us know still what you thought.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's it. Follow us on Instagram at We Run on Coffee, and I think that's it. Happy angel numbering. Let us know what you find for your angel numbers. Comment on our Instagram post and let us know if you have one. And if you agree with its meaning, or like, now I think the hindsight is cool for me, like looking back on my birth or looking back on my anniversary or looking back on my cruise ship number. Like the hindsight's interesting to see if you can tie in the meaning of it to that moment in time. So let us know.
Yeah.
All right.
Let us know.
Well, that's it. Goodbye. We love you. We'll see you next week. Thank you for listening. And with that, I'm Erica.
And I'm Marissa. And we run on coffee. Bye.
Goodbye.